What is up, guys? Amp here, bringing you some Halo Reach gameplay. And let's just say I'm enjoying Reach again. And honestly, it's a little surprising to me. Reach was pretty good when he first got it out there. It was a cool new Halo game. Obviously, it had some downsides to it with the bloom and etc. etc. But wow, Zero Bloom gameplay is amazing in my opinion. The DMR without any bloom on it, with the hit scan added to it, oh, it's great. Now that 343's taken over, they've sort of helped out MLG a bit more than, or a bit faster. Well, it wasn't too fast, but MLG playlist now has no bloom game types, which also includes no sprint game types, which I'm a bit shaky on. I'm not sure which way I sort of prefer. I've been playing a bunch with no sprint, and those are going fine. So it looks like it's a pretty solid game type either way. But they will have to do some tweaking to the maps because a lot of these, like Pit, for example, were built around having the sprint ability, and so they're gonna have to sort of tweak how they play and sort of the scale of everything. But overall, no bloom. Oh man, it's fun. Now this game in particular, I go about a +9, I believe. I ended up playing with some guys who I met through a couple different games throughout the night. Started partying up with people. Ended up getting a pretty good team of 4 together. There's still some pretty bad kids in the playlist. Oh man, MLG playlist. I don't understand like why really bad people go into this playlist thinking that it's gonna help anybody. um, Not to like disparage everybody who's not great at Halo, but if you're not an MLG player, please don't go into MLG. Obviously, you gotta ease into it somehow, but please don't do the playlist because it's not ranked. So if you're like coming in as a newbie, you'll be ranked up, matched up against anybody. So that was a bit of an unfortunate spawn there. The spawn system for Reach, especially since it's a Forge map, is a lot less inconsistent than the Halo 3 model. So it was tough for me to predict the spawn exactly there, even though there were some clues, but still it was unfortunate. Anyways, the thing I wanted to talk about today was the state of the Halo community, specifically the competitive community, but obviously Halo community as a whole sort of, I feel like, didn't rally behind Reach like they could have. Now, obviously, there was a lot of big changes, Bloom, the armor abilities, replacing equipment, which equipment didn't really have that much of an effect in Halo 3, but armor abilities really did in Reach. So I feel like a lot of people sort of abandoned the game, and it isn't played as much. I still go back every once in a while to play. Now that Zero Bloom's out there, I'm going to play a bit more. And I feel like that's a lot of people's opinions going into it. Even when they do the title update beta, a lot of people were coming back to try out the Zero Bloom and see how it goes. And now that MLG is sort of adopting that, and I hope that they keep these settings through next year. I'm wondering how they're going to sort of figure that out and what Killer KC is going to decide whether or not they're going to do the no bloom, which I bet they are. But the whole sprint issue is going to be the next big thing. Uh, and I'm sort of excited to see how it plays out for the pro players and the pro teams, and hopefully Instinct's back on top. Well, stays on top because they won the championship. Anyways, the state of the Halo community. It's coming back a little bit. We're getting a little bit of a rebound. Obviously, competitive players, a lot of the pros, everybody who sort of makes money, places consistently at events, they were still into Reach from the beginning. They were all in. It's the next Halo game. Got picked up by the circuit, so they're gonna play it. A lot of other people, including a lot of amateur teams, maybe even some semi-pro in there, weren't really behind Reach. It felt like a different game almost, with all the differences that I have talked about, and so people just didn't really want to adapt to the change, or didn't feel like it was as enjoyable as Reach was introduced as. And obviously that's changed a bit with the sort of improvements that the alterations available made by 343. So hopefully we sort of get a resurgence. A lot of people do enjoy the Zero Bloom. I played some custom, as well as doing matchmaking that night. And the next day I was playing a bit with the guys again. But we did some custom games and stuff. A lot of people were going into those. They were especially going into them when the Zero Bloom stuff came out, and so a lot of people were sort of getting back in then. But I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful for next year. I hope the whole season is going to be sort of structured differently. Sundance has hinted at that before. We'll know when they start announcing more details for the season for the next year, but hopefully Halo Reach stays in it. There was some speculation that some games are getting dropped, but Halo Reach is still going to be in there, and Zero Bloom, and I think a lot more people are going to be interested in trying it out or sticking with it. I know a lot of people. It's sort of frustrating to me, being sort of a latecomer to the whole Halo community, coming in at Halo 3 after being a sort of a spectator for Halo 2, to see like the next step sort of get left behind, Reach coming out, and people sort of lackluster support for it. But hopefully these changes will sort of revitalize some of the people coming back. And you know, I had some friends who aren't still not going to come back, but you know, it's a step forward, and you know, maybe it's the only step forward, but hopefully it gets a desired effect. Anyways, check out my last couple videos. Last Halo one was from the anniversary playlist, and it was pretty cool. A pistol, 3-shot, let's go, and Mono for 3, of course. I'll see you guys next week.